Hi y'all, this is House Guest and I am your host, Kenzie Elizabeth. Think a Gen Z wannabe Martha Stewart meets Dolly Parton trying to live in a Nancy Meyers movie in her 20s. We talk all about life, relationships, navigating your 20s, closing out the bars, or waking up at 5 a.m. depending on our vibe that week. Ultimately, living our best lives and figuring it out along the way. So come hang out. Sometimes I have guests on who do really cool things, some of my best friends, or it's just me and my house that I spend way too much time in. So let's get into the show. Before we get into this week's episode, I wanted to let y'all know that the House Guest holiday, winter collection is now available. I'm wearing my favorite piece. It is our cute little polo shirt. It has a House Guest embroidered HD. Looks adorable. The quality's insane, guys. I got this back and I couldn't believe it. I'm wearing a medium right now. I have an extra large. I'm obsessed with this. And Jack, Jack, who is a friend of the show, it was approved by her. She loves it and says it's so cute and it's just it's everything. So we have this in a chocolate brown. It's a long sleeve. It's unlike any other merch you've ever seen before. And I am obsessed with it. And then we have this in pink as well. I just don't have it on me. We also have these cute little striped crew necks that has our House Guest house, which honestly, I didn't even mean for this to happen, but it really does look like Rose Hill Cottage. I obviously did not design this. If only I could do that. It's actually kind of everything. I love it. We have our House Guest tag. I always get larges and extra larges, but very cute. Just this cute little striped crew. So fun. It looks like a lot of the crews that I see on TikTok. And then the thing I'm actually second most excited for, we have this House Guest hat. It's this chocolate brown embroidered house hat, okay? And then it says House Guest on the back. Look at how cute this would be. My Dallas girls walking Katy Trail with it, wherever you are, West Side Highway. I don't know your story, but would love to, okay? Anyway, so this is out now. This hat is so cute. I cannot wait to wear this. And then we actually have new aprons as well, which I'm really excited for. We have our Breadwinning Housewife aprons that are actually, I think, still available on the site, but these are our new ones. The House Guest House. Oh, that's backwards. Sorry. The House Guest House aprons. They're really, really cute. The perfect gift to give. Treat yourself this holiday winter season, if you will. Okay. So anyways, love these. These are all available on our merch website now. So I hope you guys enjoy and happy shopping. And let's get into this episode. Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the House Guest podcast. And we are currently in the best week of the year, which is the week between Christmas to New Year's Eve, where days don't exist, nothing matters, you can do whatever you want. So we're going to do just a nice little solo catch-up, if you will, we're actually going to talk about quite a few things, obviously. But I did want to touch a little bit on, New Year anxiety, because in January, I always, really, hit the ground running. I'm always so excited, me and my routines and my habits, my goals and whatever. And then I end up feeling like I need to accomplish every single thing that I put on my vision board that day. And then I just give myself really bad anxiety. So if you guys need an episode to listen to that is a comfort listen, this is the one to go back to. I'm going to say some things that are encouraging. You are fine the way you are. Life is long. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's relax. And we're also going to touch on people who achieved success later, quote, later in life, which is basically just not in your 20s. I did a solo episode on this years ago and I still get tagged in it, and I just wanted to kind of touch on that again. I do potentially want to do a part 2 one time, but I think it's just really beneficial to hear that you do not have to have everything figured out right now. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to be on Forbes 30 under 30. You do not need to be on whatever all the lists are and achieve all these things to matter and to make your life count. You can make your life count in so many ways that are personal to you and that matter to you. With that being said, I'm obviously a very goal-driven, I'm a very work-driven person. I love all those things, but I will never love anything more than I want to love my actual life. So let's just take a second this week to relax before the new year gets crazy. I'm definitely going to have a couple, motivational goal setting type episodes. I've actually already recorded them that are coming up soon. So those will be coming up very, very soon. I don't feel like our approach is super overwhelming though. I think that it's something, I don't know, I always try to be kind of a cross between a motivational, inspirational listen and a comfort listen. This is definitely leaning more on the comfort. So anyways, I just wanted to speak to a couple things going into this year when you feel like you have to do everything at once and achieve the craziest things of your life and feel like if you're not doing that, you're not doing enough and whatever. Slow down, let's relax, let's take a big deep breath. It's gonna be fine, okay? First thing I wanted to say is you are fine just the way you are. It's really great to have goals. I think goals are incredible. I think they're actually wildly important in life in terms of giving you structure and a purpose and something to work towards. I think there's something in our brain that goals are just good for. You can achieving is good, but I think you just can't find all of your validation in achieving. Like, it cannot be what you die for. But also, you don't have to do everything all at once. Like, you do not have to achieve everything by 30 just because there is like a Forbes 30 under 30 list, which is amazing. If that is like your story, and that's incredible, love that. But for everyone else who's not really in that place, like, you are doing fine just where you're at. We were never, ever meant to have this much access to everyone around us. Like, when the world was created and whatever happened there, we didn't have access to people in different neighborhoods, let alone different cities, in different states, in different countries. Like, we didn't know all that, have all the access to that, to their day-to-day, to their achievements, to their life, to all that stuff, which I don't even want to say we're all guilty of. Like, there's nothing wrong with posting your life and doing any of that stuff at all. But it does just, we're just all a little bit overexposed to each other, which leads to, comparison and I think anxiety, and it just can be a little bit difficult. Now, I do want to say I actually really err completely on the side of like, you are in control of like how you react and what you see. So if that stuff is bothering you, like, you can mute them. Like, that's totally fine. And also, if it's like triggering you, I think maybe like look at the root. But with that being said, we were never meant to see all this stuff, and now you see all this stuff and you can't help but think like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough, or so-and-so did this and I only did this, or, I achieved this, but they did that 5 years ago. Therefore, it doesn't really matter. I don't even want to post about it because it's kind of embarrassing that I just did it. Like, no. Whatever you have done, you should be proud of. Even if all you did this year was like stay alive and keep moving, seriously, that is very hard. There are years that is the biggest accomplishment that you could have ever done. I see you. I love you. It is going to be okay. Life is the longest thing that we'll ever experience. Now, I go back and forth on this a lot, obviously, with just having experienced grief and loss. Obviously, life is short and you never know what's coming, but at the same time, like, it is the longest thing that we will all ever experience. So let's keep that in mind. You don't need to put so much pressure on yourself to achieve every single thing right this second, okay? Life is a marathon, not a sprint. We are playing the long game. Even if you want just like longevity in your career, Martha Stewart, not to bring up our queen again and again, is Martha Stewart because she built that over decades and decades and decades, right? Same with Dolly Parton. Like, you think about the people who have stayed in their career and had real longevity. It's not necessarily like a viral moment, whatever that might be, the equivalent of in like your career field, right? So again, you do not have to do everything all at once, and it is fine. It's actually really normal. It's just not really what social media highlights. And so I think sometimes we just kind of get in these like rabbit holes or like self-pitying, or I think sometimes this week, for me, I love this week because it's like, I stay home, it's cozy, I'm on my Christmas tree, I'm baking, I'm doing all the things that I love to do. But I think that this week can also be a week that feels weird. We're like kind of off. You're maybe working a little bit, maybe you're working the whole time and you're seeing everyone else on these trips or whatever it might be. I think for some reason, so many of my friends and I, we talked about like, it's just kind of like a weird week. You're thinking about what you want your next year to look like, and all of a sudden you're putting so much pressure and you're comparing yourself and whatever. So this episode is going to be a break from that. You deserve rest. Rest is good. This should be the most restful week of your life, hopefully, if you have the work off. This is the episode to listen to if you just need to know everything's going to be okay and we're going to relax. There is this analogy that I love that I stole from someone. I don't even know if this is an analogy, whatever, it's a story, okay? Think about you are driving your own car in your lane, right? And then there's a car next to you. And there's a car next to you whenever you're on the highway, okay? And you're driving, and you feel like whatever the car is in front of you is going slow, but the car next to you is going so fast and they're great, right? And so you're trying to get into their lane, in the long run, when you're switching lanes so much, you're actually going to take longer to get there, and you're not even going to end up in the lane that you were even meant to be in, which is like your own lane. You're going to end up in someone else's where you don't feel right, you don't feel fulfilled, you don't feel successful, you feel like insecure and just like weird, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel aligned with you, if you will. I just like to keep that in mind of like, even if it's taking me longer to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do, I'm in my lane and I'm doing like what I am meant to be doing. And in the long run, like the only person who needs to go to where I need to go is myself. And the same goes for everyone around me. And that's okay. And if it takes you a little bit longer, that's fine. Also, you don't know what is going to happen like 5 miles down the road. So try not to like swerve into everyone else's lane is basically what I'm getting at, because it's going to take you way longer to get to where you need to go. Because I think at the end of the day, we all pretty much end up where we're meaning to go or needing to go. And by trying to waste time going into other people's lanes, I think it actually holds us back like a ton, and it takes us way longer, which was the entire problem to begin with. People that have achieved success later in life. First up, we've got Vera Wang. Vera Wang got into fashion at 40. Martha Stewart released her first cookbook at 41. Entertaining. I recently got it somehow for $35, and they're normally like $800 worth. I have no idea how I got so lucky. The Amazon seller had no idea what they had on their hands. Kris Jenner was 52 when Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered. Julia Child released her first cookbook at 50, launching her career as a celebrity chef. Betty White landed the role that made her career at 51. Steve Carell was 42 when The Office premiered. If you like those, we have an entire episode where I go back and I go through like probably 20, 30 people. It is so comforting because we just put so much pressure to achieve everything in your 20s, even sometimes like your 30s. There is so much life to be lived past that. So knowing that these people either didn't even start their careers or didn't get their quote big break until they were, 40 plus is very, very comforting. Like, I love that. So if you ever need another comfort listen, that's a really good episode. I'll have it linked below. And I love it. You're going to be fine. It's going to be great. And now I'm here to distract you. And we're just going to be talking about things that I've really liked this year. Okay? First things first, Gilmore Girls. Obsessed. Like, I've always loved Gilmore Girls. I grew up watching it. But, like, in the past 18 months, it has become possibly, like, my number one show. It's One Tree Hill. It's Nashville. It's Gilmore Girls, and it's Friday Night Lights. I clearly like comfort shows, but the one that I go back and watch the most, I watch definitely like One Tree Hill and Gilmore Girls the most, which we'll get to One Tree Hill soon, but loved Gilmore Girls. We went to Warner Brothers, isn't it? No, Universal. Yeah, Universal, I think. I don't know, whatever. Dom and I went there a couple months ago because we were like, this has been the worst year ever. We should go see Gilmore Girls. We get there and we do the set. So it's like a studio tour, right? So we're doing the whole tour. So excited to see Gilmore Girls, right? That was the one show you couldn't stop at because they were shooting something. So like you just couldn't, but they don't tell you that ahead of time. So we got there and the entire time we were like so excited. And it wasn't Gilmore Girls, but don't worry because I actually don't even want to jinx this because I'm recording this before I even go to LA. I am going to LA and supposedly we're supposed to go to Gilmore Girls at Christmas, which is very exciting. Updates to come on that. Speaking of, they just did some like Walmart deal with Scott Patterson, who plays Luke, and Lorelai Gilmore. And they did something with like coffee and Walmart. I don't know. All I know is that we got one of those like ambient videos, whatever. Ambiance videos in Luke's diner. Like, all the like firewood crackling videos that you have on YouTube that are comforting, very like Danielle Carolyn coded. They have something about saying Danielle Carolyn felt so weird. Like that felt like so official. Like I would never call her Danny, okay? I don't know. So it's just like that felt really weird. Anyways, they have one of those videos now that plays on the TV. So I had it on this morning. I was in Luke's diner. I was just obsessed. Like it was really everything I could ever want. My dream podcast guest is Scott Patterson. Like I need Luke from Gilmore Girls on so bad. And I need you guys to like really lean into having this happen for us. Like it's not happening for me. It's happening for us, you and I. I love the podcast. I feel like it would just be like such a good fit. It's been such an amazing show. It's gotten me through so much. Seriously. I love Gilmore Girls, and hopefully I will have gone at this point. I'll be like absolutely thrilled and like happier than ever if that happens. So updates to come on that, but Gilmore Girls I've loved. You know who I've loved more? Jess. I'm a Jess girl through and through. I am not a Logan girl. Logan IRL is my actual nightmare. There's nothing more that I hate than like a rich, pretentious man, especially under the age of 30, because I would say like early 20s when it's like your parents' money. Oh my God, it makes me want to scream. Like that personality type, I just think about them. They're like the guys, I don't even want to say the place in Dallas, but if you're in Dallas, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm thinking. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be banned from the establishment because I do have to go sometimes. But it's just like the rich guys who are just such assholes. Like, God, I hate Logan. I do understand. I don't hate Logan. There's definitely like character development. He does get better and like year in the life. And really at the end of the day, Rory's the problem. But I just like can't get past his pretentious ways and like the rich fan. Like, oh, literally hate it. Which I should definitely go a little more towards that because like every guy I've ever dated like barely even has a job. Not really every guy, but you know what I mean? Like maybe I should find like a good in between or lean more towards Logan. Maybe that's really the answer. Anyways, I'm a Jess girl through and through. But you know who is the real villain on Gilmore Girls? It's not Rory. It's April. April. Oh my God, I feel so bad because she's a child. But I hate that character so much so that I actually would probably hate, actually personally, the woman who played her. And I feel bad. It's not her fault. She did a great job, by the way, to make me feel like such a reaction to this girl. But April is Luke's daughter, if you didn't know. And I don't even care about her like kind of ripping apart Luke and Lorelai because that was really Luke's fault. I am so, oh my God, I just think she's so annoying. And it's horrible because she's a kid. She's like 13, but it's fine because it's fictional. There's just something about her like, oh God, she's supposed to be so angry. Like, I don't know what they did. There's a couple things they did wrong with that show. One, bring April in. Two, when Emily and Richard get divorced for a second, when they split up, that was so wrong that they did that. It's also like, and it ends with us. This isn't spoiling it because the show came out 8 years ago, more than that, so I don't care. When Toby and Kate, when they split up, oh my God, that actually ruined television for me. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and they were meant to be. That actually, like, talk about like not believing in love anymore. So anyways, hate that too. Something else I've been loving. Shocker, needlepoint. I've been talking about it a lot because I talk about hobbies in an upcoming episode, so it just like keeps coming up. But I'm like back on my needlepoint journey. It's such a cold season hobby. So amazing. We have Stitch night tomorrow. I'm working on a Diet Coke one for Dom. I'm trying to get that done by her birthday, but we'll see. I've been working very, very hard. I'm gonna make her a cute little pillow. What I love so much about needlepoint, this is what I love about the home that I say all the time. A home should do two things. One, look like you. Two, tell a story. And I love that about needlepoint, that you can personalize it in so many different ways. And it tells a story and you're sitting there and you're working very hard on one thing. I love the people that you meet through it, whatever. We get into that into like a future episode. I don't need to get into all of that here. But I love that like all of the pillows that I have in my home right now, like tell a story. I just got a new one. By got a new one, I mean we finished a new project. It's a Serial Hobbyist, which is a friend of mine's needlepoint canvas, one of them. And it's like a green leopard. And that fabric is so cool that my grandma chose that fabric because that fabric we had in our like childhood bedrooms growing up. So everything is just like very meaningful. I love a trinket, you know, but I love a good story, if you will. So I love that. Another thing that I have been so obsessed with lately, Mahjong. Turns out I'm a game night girl, okay? So Mahjong is a game that originated in China with Chinese women, and then there's like a US version of Mahjong, and then there's a Chinese version of Mahjong. I believe I'm getting all of this right along these lines. Basically, Chinese women started Mahjong, and then it was brought to the States. I don't know if it was brought to the States by Jewish women, but basically Jewish women created, I believe it's the National Mahjong League in like the 1930s. So that's like the US version of Mahjong, and then there's the Chinese version of Mahjong. I play the US version. Let me tell you, these women, I've got a lot. I would kiss them all on the lips. I would write them all thank you cards. Seriously, I would invite them, all of them, to my dinner parties. I love that game so much. I didn't even think I was gonna like it so much. Like my new friend Clara, if you guys are in Dallas, by the way, great event to host if you guys are trying to like change it up. She's a Mahjong teacher. So she reached out to me. She's working like with the Mahjong line, which is where my stuff's from, and offered to do like a class for like me and my friends. And I sent it to my friends and I was like, is anyone interested? And they've been wanting to, so we did it. It was so fun. She's fabulous. Friend of mine, love her. Her Instagram's like so bam fun. I don't think Clara's in. I think it's so bam fun. So bam, BAM which is like a Mahjong thing. Fun. Really cute. Anyways, she's great to hire for like events and stuff. Like it would be really fun. That has been so fun. I've only played, as I'm recording this now, I've only played 3 nights, but I have Mahjonged all 3 nights, not to brag. Seriously, you guys know I would never do that. But I really, really love it. It's so much fun. It's something that's like really brought me a lot of joy. So if you guys are like interested in like any sort of game, I highly recommend it. And like Mahjong nights, like I'm constantly, anyone that I know that I think could like possibly into Mahjong, like earlier today, Kathy was here. She's coming on the show very, very soon. Very good episode, by the way. And I looked at her and I just thought, you look like someone who would Mahjong. And I asked her and she does. So we're going to start Mahjonging together. You Mahjong. No, I'm going to Mahjong. They're going to play Mahjong. I'm going to have to keep my winning streak. Part of me is like, I should never play it again because I'm 3 for 3 right now. Not 3 games, but like 3 nights of playing. It's really fun. My stepsister is into it now, and like we talked about Mahjong. We like send each other stuff back and forth all the time. We got my grandma into it. We got my stepdad playing it. I'm gonna make my dad learn. It is just like the most fun game ever, and it's really so incredible. I would love to learn like a lot more about the game. That's when I know of like where it came from. I want to learn more, but it is so amazing. So whoever invented that game, you're long gone, but your ancestors, I love you, okay? I love them forever, and they can come to my house whenever they want, okay? This goes without saying, and I'm not going to get too into it because I did an entire Martha Stewart episode, but the Martha Stewart documentary is the greatest thing to happen to Netflix, probably ever. It was so incredible, so good. Again, I'm not going to go into this because I already talked about this. I actually didn't talk about the documentary. We recorded that before the doc was out. I just did a little intro for it. That doc was so well done. It made her look incredible. It showed her more vulnerable than she's ever been before. It gave you new eyes to the court case, really put a lot of respect on her name. It was incredible, and I loved it. So I'm not going to talk about it again. You know, I would like an Ina Garten doc like that too. Ina is definitely like more in just like the cooking scene. Like she's less mainstream, I would say, than Martha, like, you know, with her Justin Bieber roast and the Snoop Dogg stuff and, you know, all that stuff. But I love Ina Garten. Speaking of, okay, I've been listening to Cherry Bomb Radio. I am obsessed. I don't even fully know what Cherry Bomb is. I think it's like a media company. I'm subscribed to their magazine and I have their cookbook and I love everything that they do. And they have a podcast and it's all things that I'm interested in. It's like people in the food world and the woman who owns like Blackberry Farms. It's more in like hospitality, food, creative ventures, design, art, like all that stuff. I wouldn't say I'm like into art, but you know what I mean. I'm fascinated by those conversations. If I know literally nothing. I don't know if I'll actually, do you guys think I'll ever get into art? Because that's just like so not me, but at the same time it's like really me, but it's so not me. So let me know what you guys think. Anyways, love Cherry Bomb Radio. That's a new podcast that I've had on rotation recently, and I really, really have enjoyed it. I was listening to the one with the man who started Flamingo Estate this morning, and it was such a good episode. Like I love it. I feel like it's like all the women that I want to be with, like at a dinner party, but they're all like 20 years older than me. So I don't know. I really, you know what I need to do? I feel like I'm talking so fast, guys. Sorry, I need to relax. Taking my deep breath. I need to get myself invited to like a 50-year-old's dinner party, like weekly. That's kind of the crowd that I want to be hanging out with. It's all fun and games. I love my friends. I do. I really, really do. But I would like to be with people also who are like way older than me because I've got some questions about life. I think they're fascinating. I really just want to hear them talk. I don't know. There's something about, I've always been that way. That like I really like people who are older than me. I don't know. I need to do some research on that. Like I've got to somehow, what's the word I'm looking for? Not push, but insert myself into a dinner party group of like 50 plus in the Dallas, Texas scene. So if you guys know anyone, I would absolutely love to come. And I would like to find 50-year-olds who go to Chaparral or Needlepoint this. They probably shop at like Nicholas and Hardy. They like Framebridge. Like it's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking for like me at 50 if you think about it, okay? My hosting closet this year, guys, where do I begin? First off, it is a TikTok money maker. Let me tell you. Actually, I don't think I made a dime. No, I did one deal. I've actually made literally no money off these videos, but it goes viral often, which I appreciate. So I'm very grateful for this hosting closet. I wallpapered it this year. I added all the photos. The photos are telling a story of all the different things that I have hosted in my home. I have to go back and continue on with that. We have all of our new like aprons, so like the house guest aprons and everything in this hosting closet just brings me like so much joy. I'm obsessed with like making closets kind of like everything. You still use a closet, like why not go all out? Like I'm running out of like space in this house to do things. So next we're working on like the vanity closet in my closet room. The hosting closet has just brought me a lot of joy and also a lot of TikTok views, which, you know, love that. So thank you so much. Guys, it ends with us. Like, dare I say I liked the movie? I liked it, okay? I'm sorry. I didn't like the drama. I felt like that was a little overdone. And it is kind of crazy how, like, one day, it was the name on everyone's lips. All anyone talked about was the It Ends With Us drama. And then just one day, we all woke up and collectively were like, we don't care anymore. Like, we just got over the drama. We were fatigued, and that was kind of it. It happened so quickly. I don't really know. I wonder what drama came up that knocked It Ends With Us like off its pedestal. But yeah, I really liked it. You know what? Speaking of seeing things, you guys are going to be shocked to hear this. I went and saw Gladiator 2, which I haven't even seen Gladiator 1. It's also like the least like me movie to see. I don't even see really movies, period. I do watch things more now that I'm a needlepointer. That's a new take a shot every time. The shot game is every time I mention needlepoint. Anyways, Paula Mescal loved it. It was a little gory. I definitely could have seen a little less of some things for sure, but it was actually an incredible movie. Like, I would watch the first one. I loved it. It was shocking. I thought I was going to hate it. At the time I'm recording this, I still haven't seen Wicked. I want to see it. I'm not a musical girl, but I know that I would really like the movie because Macy and Dom said that I would, and they wouldn't lie to me, so I feel good about that. Taylor Swift in general this year, guys, has really just been something. Honestly, the past 2 years, I went to Eras 6 times. I almost went for a 7th time, but I would have to be leaving like tomorrow in real time as I'm recording this, and I just have like way too much going on, and like I didn't want to go unless I could like bring someone else with me because like I don't need to experience it again. I was gonna like go if I could bring my sister, but I didn't get a +1. Anyways, what an incredible run we had with the Eras tour. That was really something to never forget. Bringing my niece to Eras and surprising her, like I'm like getting teary-eyed thinking about it. Oh my god, I might cry. Relax. Bringing her to Eras was like the most special weekend of my life. She was over last week. She stayed with me I pretty much had a kid from like Monday to Friday. Technically, sure, her parents were there Thursday and Friday, but whatever. I was also there. I could have a kid. Like, I think I'm ready. Anyways, having her there at Eras, it was just like so special. When I was at Eras in London this summer, it was what I thought was like the last time I was gonna go to Eras, and I was just looking around, and Sophie my niece became a very big Swiftie. She's 9, by the way. The week after my sister and I went to Eras in Arlington, so I couldn't take her obviously, and then I was sitting there in London at Wembley, just like watching everyone, and I was just thinking like Sophie has to experience this. Like, I'll never forgive myself if I don't take her there, and I have the means. I can make it happen. I can take time. Like, it'll happen. So I got permission, and I took her, and I surprised her like the day of. I am still very close to my aunt, but growing up, my aunt was my everything. Like, that was all I wanted to be in life was my aunt. I love my aunt to this day, but it was like my whole childhood was like me and my aunt. That's against the world. That's all I ever wanted. So without realizing it, I've like completely like recreated that relationship. So anyways, like my favorite days were always with my aunt, like going and doing things. So taking her to Eras was just so amazing. Like, it was just such an incredible experience. And also all the other things, like, it's brought us such, like, I don't want to say like community, but it's just brought us like something to be happy about. Like, it's been a couple of years having this much access, and also seeing like Taylor and Travis. Like, it's just been such a good fun time seeing all the Eras stuff. It's just something to get excited about. It has been incredible. So Eras has been like such an amazing thing that has happened this year. Macy being a DCC, guys, oh my god, yes, Macy being a DCC obviously has been incredible, sure. Macy getting told off by a 10-year-old on Instagram, wait, let me see. Actually, oh, sorry, already got it. Sorry, got it already. That's Macy texting me right now for our Starbucks order. I am gonna find the video. I'm texting Macy. Can you text me the video of the 10-year-old telling you off? Okay, we're gonna insert that video. hopefully on YouTube if we're allowed to. If not, we'll have it linked below. Macy was told off by a 10-year-old on Instagram, I think. I'm not even gonna go so into it because I'm sure we did in the Christmas special. And like, I could never ask for anything more. I had no idea what I wanted for Christmas, and who knew it was for Macy to be told off so seriously by a 10-year-old. It was everything. I showed my dad the video, Mr. Ed Milet himself, Mick Piper. He was in tears. He was laughing so hard. I showed Sophie, she was, staying with me because I'm very responsible. I showed Sophie the video and she laughed at first, and then she was like, wait, that girl's being mean to Macy. And I was like, oh no. And so she didn't like it at all. She is up for an apology from the 10-year-old, I'm sure. But that was just such an amazing thing to experience. Like, if you guys haven't experienced this video, it's a video, by the way, where Macy is kidding. Like, it is a joke and everyone else took her seriously. So she's not, I wouldn't feel this way if someone was like telling Macy off like to herself. It's funny because like the video was a joke. It's Macy's video, the Big Ben video. If you're a podcast listener, it's what she dropped. You know this. Basically, long story short, if you're new, Macy's my best friend. She made a video kind of like mocking all the Disney adults when they see the Disney castle, like screaming, crying at the castle. She made that when she saw Big Ben. It's like not even close to her funniest video ever, but it went so viral. It was funny, don't get me wrong. That sounded like I was saying it wasn't funny. Her other videos are just like so funny. And for whatever reason, this one picked up traction. There's all the like UK tabloids are writing about her, making fun of her. And like, it's just been so funny because obviously it's a joke and they're like so dead ass over there apparently, as seen by this 10-year-old. So that's just been like a really incredible time, and I'm really grateful for the moment that I spent on my Instagram seeing this 10-year-old tell Macy off. Like, it is so good and so funny. So I love that. Keaton got engaged, which is incredible. That's like one of my first really close friends that has gotten engaged, that I've like been a part and been there, and it was just so magical. I loved London. Oh my God, I haven't loved it. It's actually kind of bereaved me. I don't know if that's the right word. It's made me a little sad, the One Tree Hill behind the scenes drama. So as we mentioned earlier, I'm a huge One Tree Hill fan, okay? I love the series. I binged it my junior year of high school, and it's been a comfort show ever since, so much so that I hosted book club last month, and we read Joy Lenses, who plays Haley James Scott. We read her memoir. She was in a cult. It's actually kind of crazy. You should definitely watch it. You don't watch a book, you should read it. I was thinking One Tree Hill, but I love anything like it revolves around a cult. They're so interesting to me. Anyways, good book. And we hosted book club. And again, to make life a little more exciting, you have to have a theme. Duh. So I made it Karen's Cafe theme, which is from One Tree Hill. And Haley worked there. So it was like really fun. Anyways, there's a lot of drama between like her and Hillary that I do believe it feels like a little one-sided on Hillary's end. So that's been something that's just, I've been kind of keeping up with. Also, another thing, I didn't even realize this. I don't know how I didn't know this because I'm like so locked into the One Tree Hill drama. I'm just so fascinated by like who was dating who during I think it's because I wasn't at the age of watching the show when it happened. So like with other shows, that stuff, you don't really care. But because like I watched it so much later without any context of any of the drama. And then I found out that Sophia Bush and Chad Michael Murray were going through a divorce in season 3 when they're like madly in love on the show. Like that really got me, like I was hooked in. So I really loved that. But I saw there's like some reality show or something where like Chad goes and like buys a truck with Sophia, and it's like the behind the scenes of One Tree Hill. There's like a hurricane. I'm seeing them on TikTok. So anyways, that's just like a rabbit hole that I really like to get into. I like a good rabbit hole that I'm like stuck in for like weeks at a time, because it really helps me to think of like other things in life and not like my own like misery or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just nice. Happened forever ago. It doesn't really affect anyone these days. But it is like really crazy once you realize that they were fully married. And allegedly, he cheated with Paris Hilton, and that's why they divorced, as they were love interest on one of the most popular TV shows. So that's like really, really crazy. Also, it's just so interesting because it's interesting to see the difference between like TV stars then and now, because they didn't have social media like when maybe they did, like MySpace. It was pre like social media being what it is now. So it is just like interesting to see probably even like the amount of stuff they got away with, like people not knowing, And Sophia Bush dated like James Lafferty. She dated pretty much everyone on that show. And then Julian, who that was the best thing they ever did for that show, was the Julian and Sophia storyline. Julian, Austin Nichols, I believe they were dating before and she had them write him in. I'm pretty sure she had the writers write him into the show so that they could like live near each other because they were living in Wilmington. Or at least they like found love in that show. But I'm pretty sure she had him write them in. I'm not quite positive. It makes sense because they have the best chemistry I've ever seen. That is like the best couple ever. That's made me think of Alex Dupree, which makes me want to like literally throw up. Hate her. Anyways, yeah, I also wrote Taylor and Travis have been incredibly top of mind. Obsessed. Going to Eras Tour 6 times, which is insane. It was insane. I was invited a couple times, but I did also fully pay. Oh, I did want to do a couple things that were like content favorites. So books this year, 2024 I was actually just saying this was not the year of reading for me. I only read like 20 something books. Normally I read like anywhere from 50 to 100 and I really didn't read that much. I actually got really into Audible. Like I listened to, what if I broke into like in this episode is sponsored by Audible. I love listening to an audiobook on like a memoir audiobook. So I listened to like Kelly Bishop's on Audible. I listened to Ina Garden's. I love that one. I'm listening to Lauren Graham's. Like love that one. Yeah, I like how everything that I even semi-like, it's like, mentioned it a billion times on the podcast already. But anyways, love that one. This is what I have for my books for top 3. The Lies That Bind, Emily Giffin. This one is interesting. I like when Emily Giffin has things that are either inspired by U.S. history or she kind of intertwines it. Like in Meant to Be by Emily Giffin, it's very loosely based off like Caroline Bessette. Actually, not even very loosely. It's like pretty based off her, but it's a fiction book. It is so good. I read the book years ago and I like still think about it. The Lies That Bind, it's interesting because they tie in 9/11. So there's something about reading a fiction book and then something that you obviously have so much context on happening in that book. And it's not what the book is about. It just like happens in the storyline. I really liked that and I thought that was very interesting and I would like to read more books like that. I'm not fully on my historical fiction thing yet. I do feel like it's coming though. When I had Jackie Austria on the show a couple years ago and she was saying, you know, it comes with time, I actually like see it happening for myself, which is crazy. And at that point, I did not see it coming at all. Another one I loved, This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. This one was a very devastating, sad book that'll make you cry. But sometimes I just like a devastating, sad book that'll make you cry. Like that's kind of like a genre. It's my genre of choice, if you will. Loved that. It follows 2 couples. This really feels like we're on FaceTime right now and I'm like talking to Dom. This follows 2 couples. No, by the way, it's 1 couple. I'm already a liar. All right. It follows 1 couple, but it is like a then and now trope. So you see them in their beginning, in their early stages of their divorce, and then it flashes back to like when they met, and it just does that for the entire book. It was such an amazing book. I loved it. I love Renee Carlino. Fun fact, I actually don't even know if she remembers this. She probably doesn't. She came on the podcast like years and years ago. This was COVID, so it was Zoom. I barely remember what podcast we did then, but yeah, she's been on the podcast. So anyways, I loved that book. And then this one comes with a trigger warning. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This is the sickest and the darkest and the most twisted book I have ever read in my entire life. It is gruesome. It is gross. It is sick. The fact that anyone would even write this book / I would even like this book is sick. Okay, it is sick. It is so good. It is one of the best thrillers I've ever read in my entire life. I need to read more Karen Slaughter. Side note, do we think that's actually her real name? Because Karen Slaughter, like Slaughter being your last name when you're a thriller author is just too perfect. Like that doesn't feel right to me at all. So I actually could just Google this, but instead I'm asking you guys, and then we'll eventually find out when I am thinking about this, when I'm recording an episode in like 4 months and I think to Google it. I just feel like that's too perfect that has to be a stage name. Anyways, if you guys like a thriller book that's dark and twisted, it's really good. I love that one. Shows for this year: Gilmore Girls, One Tree Hill, Law & Order, SVU. I grew up watching SVU. Olivia Benson is everything to me. Speaking of, Olivia Benson actually didn't become Olivia Benson. Let me see. When did Olivia Benson book? Oh, it says she was 33. She was 33 when she got her breakout hit show that has been running for what, like 30 years? Influencers. Okay, top 3. I literally only wrote down 3 and it doesn't even quite make sense. I love Savannah Berry. She has the cutest, most comforting home videos. Love that on TikTok. Cherry Bomb, just in general, I love their content that they put out. I'm going to add another one, Homeworthy, which has been a favorite for quite some time. But now that we're in the fall and the winter, there's something about like Homeworthy being on in the background when I'm working that's so inspiring to me. And I pick up so much stuff when I'm watching it, even of how different people have designed or used spaces or made them more useful. Like this girl made this basically side table the other day with all these random books that she had, but she made it look so sick. And I'm going to do that because I can do that. Isn't that crazy how that works? But I just love that content. It's very inspiring to me. There's nothing I love more than the home, tell a story, look like you, obsessed. But it has just been incredible, and it's content that I consume that doesn't make me feel like I'm not doing enough, and I really love it. So those have been some of my favorites. I know there's other influencers that I've absolutely loved this year, but I've just been like Savannah Berry, like just comes to mind because I like send her stuff and I love her, and she's has the cutest house ever. And she's a Texan. So I love that. Oh, guys, something we need to talk about. It's like we're having a town hall meeting. I wish I had like a little, whatever that is, I don't know, the judges have. Little update, y'all. We are bringing back an old series and we are bringing a new series to the show. The first up is going to be a new series, which is going to be a dinner party series. I really want this show to feel like every single time y'all are coming over, you're coming over to my house for something, whether it's, just like a couch conversation. We're just hanging out on the couch, chatting, talking, we're FaceTiming, whatever it might be. Book club, we're doing dinner parties. Like every single time you guys are listening to this podcast, it's like you guys are coming over to my house. And I love a good dinner party. Very exciting news, y'all. We are adding some things to the podcast, which I'm very excited for, okay? First off, all of the video episodes, all of our podcast episodes are going to get uploaded to my main YouTube channel so we can keep it in one hub. It's easy. It's so much easier for the subscriber to not have to go look and search in two different places. You can see it right there. Love that. So it'll all be on my main YouTube channel. I don't know if we've already started that, but at least starting now, it'll be on the main channel. Very exciting stuff. And then we're adding 2 series. The first one is a new one. This is going to be our dinner party series. I want this podcast to feel like every single time y'all are listening to an episode, you're coming over for something. Like you're one of my friends. So my friends come over weekly for something. It could be book club. It could be a dinner party. It could be to just like hang out on the couch and talk. It could be like a fireside chat, whatever it might be. So we are going to start doing dinner party episodes. Don't worry, we won't be eating. For my misophonia girls, I see you, and phobia, whatever. I hate hearing people chew, so we'll be drinking a drink at most, but it's going to be set up in the dining room, and it's basically going to be what like our roundtable episodes used to be, where I would bring on different guests that I would have just throughout the podcast, like periodically, and bring them all together. And then it's just going to be like more of like a dinner party, like conversational, like roundtable episode. It's basically a roundtable, but it's going to be shot in my dining room and it's going to look stunning on YouTube. So I'm very excited about that. That will be on YouTube, obviously weekly, and that'll be every so often, whatever. Then we are bringing back book club. I really wanted to do something that felt very interactive for all of us. And I know a lot of y'all are probably going to have a reading goal when it comes to this new year. So I wanted to mention it now. Every 6 weeks, I will have a new book club episode. We're going to be reading with someone, and that's like another guest, another friend of mine, an influencer, whoever it might be. And then we'll all read the book together. This will be the one episode, the singular episode that I will record virtually. I will never do a Zoom podcast episode ever, but just because it's a book club episode and it's people that I'm already friends with, it's just kind of how we have to do it. So we'll do some of these virtually. I believe our first guest is Brooke Mitchia because she did call it. We haven't picked out our book. Well, actually, by the time y'all are listening to this, we will have the book picked out and it's going to be on our Instagram, but it'll be really fun. Y'all can read along. We can play our book club cards from a friend of mine. It's going to be so fun. And I already have like a really cute setup for it. I'm like really, really excited for that. So book club episode, dinner party episodes, all on my main YouTube channel. It's going to be really fun. And then we, of course, have like the Kenzie out of the house episodes where I'm in studio in LA or Nashville or New York or Austin or wherever I am. So that's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, just take it easy this week, guys. Let's practice some self-soothing. Let's relax. Life is a marathon. It's not a race. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be going a million miles an hour. You can't be on all the time. You can't always be in this like growth mindset. Sometimes you just need to be stagnant for a little bit. That's fine. That is healthy. Let's relax. Deep breaths in and out. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Catch up my YouTube vlogs while you're just laying around, you know? I wouldn't mind that at all. So anyways, I love you all, and I will talk to you in my next episode.